JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to you on this Thursday as the Bucs are up in Nashville getting a little, having some wins, having some losses up against a very good playoff team in the Titans. That's what you would expect. So we'll take you live to Nashville here in just a moment with Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. So hang in there for that. We'll talk about yesterday's practice, some injuries. Unfortunately, Keanu O'Neal, who's having a great preseason, and I thought was a tremendous addition to this team, got nicked up. We're not exactly sure what the injury is. They do expect him back for the early part of the season. Not sure if he'll make back for the opener, but we'll talk to Scott Reynolds about that coming up in just a few minutes. We'll hook him up. Also, the Rays last night with a very disappointing and disheartening loss. If you stayed up for that, it certainly wasn't worth it. So we'll take you through last night's grand slam and the 10th walk-off by Josh Donaldson, where the bullpen, who's been really, really good, failed us. And we'll hit some Rays. We'll talk some college football as well. James Patralco from Fox Sports is going to join us. We'll go around the NFL and talk some of those stories. And want a quick shout out here in the morning to Dickie V, who announced on Twitter that he is cancer-free, and that is awesome. So good friend of the show, so sending out some healing vibes and some love, and that's all karma there. You know what? You help as many people as Dick Vitale has helped in his life. It'll come back to benefit you. So wanted to talk about that early on. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show. We really appreciate you guys joining us. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, our new sponsor, emerginginv.com. You can find them there. Nick Gaddis joins me here this morning with his classic FSU logo right there. What do they call that? The screaming?
No, this is not the screaming. The one they have now is the screaming.
What is that? He looks like. What do they call that?
I don't know. I mean,
old school.
Is the chant. I'm gonna call this the war chant one.
Whatever. It's classic. And I love it.
It's classic. It's beautiful. It pops off this stream. God bless the folks at Garnet and Gold for having a vault section where you can buy all the new apparel with this logo on it.
Nice.
God bless, because I don't own anything anymore with that new horrendous logo that just represents losing. It represents losing.
They should change it back.
It represents losing.
It really does.
What did the Bucs do? I love the creamsicle, but what did they do?
As soon as they changed, they started winning.
They started winning. What did FSU do the second they changed that logo?
Started losing. Yeah, I always downplay uniforms, but there's solid evidence right there.
The Rays, same way.
Solid, same thing. How about that?
Yep.
When they got rid of the devil. That, of course, that
Lightning
was
became a first-class organization when they got a simplistic logo as well.
Yeah.
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 There's some truth to it.
Wow. Yeah. Look like a champion, play like a champion, right?
Yes.
All right. So we got a lot to get to today, and I want to thank you guys for joining us as always here, whether it's on YouTube. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The JP Peterson Show. You can also download the app. That's a great way to listen to the show. Just tap that app, and it'll start right up for you. You can listen to it anytime. That's FanStream Sports, all one word. So download the app. You can always watch us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget Apple and Spotify as well as a podcast. So the Bucs yesterday, and we'll talk more about this with Scott Reynolds when we get him hooked up here in a few minutes. A little uneven practice. Todd Bowles getting after his team a little bit, said they look tired. That's not good, but not the end of the world. It's expected in training camp. That they got to bounce back today and have a better practice against the Tennessee Titans, who, again, are a very formidable team. The big breaking news that just came down, and we'll get into this a little bit later on in the show, the Big Ten has secured their media rights for the next 7 years, or is it 10 years? It's 10 years.
It's 7 years.
7 years.
7 years, $8 billion.
$8 billion. $8 billion. That's so much money. That's so much money. And what it does is it really positions them to go after some more teams. And I don't know if that's going to add more to the pie or what have you. But, if FSU was looking at joining the SEC and zeroing in on that, you can't go wrong there, certainly. But, if they take an eye to the Big Ten, which is something, they've always gone the other way. They could have joined the SEC in the early 90s. They chose not to go to the ACC. And, you can't really argue with the success of the program after that. I mean, they went 14 straight years in the top 5, which may never happen again. So we'll talk a lot about what that means for college football and college athletics. All right, I believe we got Scott Reynolds hooked up here from Nashville. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good. How you doing, JP?
Excellent. I guess we'll start with the bad news yesterday, Keanu Neal, who was having a great training camp, and I thought was a great addition, is injured now, and looks like he won't be around for the rest of training camp, but they hope to have him back by the first of the season or close to it.
Yeah, it looks like an arm injury, like bicep or tricep, and I think the thing with him is he iced it down yesterday. We saw the trainers kind of put some ice and apply it there, and it's unfortunate because Todd Bowles has got some really creative packages that feature him. At the same time, he's a veteran player. He understands his role and his defense, and he's not a rookie, so there's not going to be a learning curve to playing in the NFL. So I think he's got enough practice reps in. It would have been great to see him in a game. Probably that Colts game would have been the one he would have played in. But at the same time, they're hopeful he'll be back by week 1.
All right. Let's talk about the wide receivers yesterday. I was reading your report on Pewter Report and said they had a pretty good day, including Julio Jones. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, Julio Jones, I don't think he'll practice today. They've been very careful with him in terms of how they're going to use him and not use him. I think that they're trying to make sure that hamstring does not flare up. It's been an injury that has really bothered him in his stint last year in Tennessee. Didn't practice much at all. It's the same thing his final season in Atlanta, not practicing because of that hamstring injury. So I think that they're being cautious and wise in how they're approaching Julio. He did have a couple of really good catches yesterday. He made a nice catch in the 2-minute drill from Blaine Gabbert right there by the sidelines, got some yards after catch after making a defender miss, got out of bounds, allowed Ryan Suckup to come in and kick a field goal. And also in the first period of 11-11s had a really nice grab from Gabbert and got some yards after catch. This guy can still play. I think the Titans last year were disappointed because he was not being in good health to where he could contribute as that number 2 receiver opposite A.J. Brown. But at the same time, Tampa's not asking him to be that number 2. They're asking him to be a number 3, a number 4. And I think that he can, I think he's still capable, JP, of going out there and having a 100-yard game, for example. It's just he's not going to be a featured guy. That's going to happen because of the coverage that is rolling towards Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and even Russell Gage. One more note on the receivers. Russell Gage and Brashad Perriman were running sprints with the trainers during practice.
Oh, that's good.
So that was encouraging to see. I think that they're going to return. Probably not going to play in the game, but I think that they might be in shape to return next week and possibly see some time against the Colts in Indianapolis for that third and final preseason game.
Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report joining us here live from Nashville, where the Bucs and Titans will go at it again today. You will not find this as a shock, my friend, but I know you realize that ESPN is there at the practice today. They're doing a lot of hits with Diana Rossini, and the plot line is, where's Brady? That's all the talk at practice is, where's Brady? It's hanging over the practice like a cloud. So let's get some clarity on that from the people who really know. How would you describe that?
They know Tom's going to be here for the regular season, and that's all that matters. That's all the players care about. That's all they care about is Tom being here, not in Tennessee, not for this practice, not for Saturday night's game. They want him in Dallas. That's it. And then they want him there for the next week and all of that. And I think that's going to happen unless something shocking takes place, some twist that we don't see coming or some revelation. But to be perfectly frank with you, this is great work for Blaine Gabbert, who has looked amazing. He's had a great practice in training camp this year, looked great in the preseason game. And Kyle Trask had a couple of early interceptions. One was in a one-on-one, one was in a 7-on-7 situation yesterday, and bounced back from those, really found a groove. And I think it was his best practice yesterday. He really was in rhythm. He had some momentum. He was feeling it. And it was good to see both Gabbert and Trask in both of they each got 2 series. In both of their series, drive the team down the field in a 2-minute drill and get into field goal range. They weren't practicing red zone yesterday. That'll probably happen today. Yesterday was all about driving down the length of the field with one timeout, or maybe no timeouts because they were down there spiking the ball, and getting into field goal range for Ryan Suckup, who made a return to Tennessee. So I like what I saw yesterday from both Gabbert and Trask. The offensive line, did not have a great day yesterday. They did not run the ball nearly as well as they wanted to. The Titans' defensive line really came to play. They were very stout against the run and really kind of manhandled the Bucs offensive line for the first half of practice, at least in the trenches. It's not uncommon because we saw this, JP. You and I were watching the practices last week against the Dolphins. When you have a joint practice, usually that home team, they're the ones that go out there and kind of defend their turf and win the first practice. And that's what we saw last week in Tampa. The Bucs were dominant in that practice on Wednesday. Then the Dolphins came back on Thursday and had a bounce back day. And I would say that overall, I think the Dolphins had probably the better practice as a whole than Tampa Bay did. So we'll see if the Buccaneers can do the same thing and rebound as that visiting team and have a bounce back practice today.
Yeah, one of my questions was going to be about the offensive line, in fact, because I know that it's a really good challenge for them because Jeffrey Simmons is obviously on that defensive line for Tennessee. I think they didn't have to see Danico Autry, who was not practicing for whatever reason, but still Jeffrey Simmons is there. How did, these young guys like Stinney and Gadecki and Nick Leverett kind of fare against a player like Jeffrey Simmons, who's one of the best in the league?
Not good. I don't want to overreact, but I'm telling you, if you were to tell me who is the best candidate for that left guard position right now, I don't know. I have some concerns about Leverett. I have some concerns about Stinney. I think that the fact that we've seen Brandon Walton in there with the starters for a couple of practices at left guard and not Luke Gadecki tells me that Gadecki is probably not ready yet. And he's only seen reps with the number twos. I'm talking about the second round draft pick, Gadecki. Yeah. So I'm a little concerned that we have not seen a guy step up and stake claim to that position yet. Now, Todd Bowles, when I asked him, he did say he was going to take this left guard competition all the way through the Colts game before picking a guy and then using the next 2 weeks before the season starts to establish that rapport and that chemistry with left tackle Donovan Smith. And I think that's probably the wise move because right now, if you ask me to pick a winner, I would say hand me 3 darts and I'll shoot them at the dartboard because it is a bit of a crapshoot right now. It doesn't mean that these players are bad. It means that they're not good enough yet. And there's still some time. There's still 2 preseason games, several more weeks of practice. We've seen some players make strides in practice. And that's what these next 2 weeks for these left guard candidates, they're going to have to really step up and make some strides.
Well, that tells me that Gadecki may have a really good chance to step in there and do it because all things being equal, they'll probably go, with if he can show that he'll pick up the playbook and mentally can handle it. And remember, he's coming from a small school. In other words, he's got the most upside here, the most ceiling. He's probably the guy that in the next 3 weeks could look a hell of a lot better come the beginning of the season. But we'll see how it plays out. I think it would be really tough for them. Go ahead.
I would say that they would love to see that happen. The problem is with Gadecki is he is moving from right to left and tackle to guard in Central Michigan to the NFL. Those are 3 big leaps. Yeah. Right. And so it's a position switch. It's moving from your footwork, right? Because when you're on the right side of the line, your steps are different. And when you're on the left side, you're mirroring, you're going a different way. And so you have to learn how to do that. And then it's just that competition level jump. He's never seen anybody like Jeffrey Simmons and at his days at Central Michigan, not even close. So where the Bucs are concerned with him is not so much in the run game, but in pass protection. That's the biggest thing. They want him to really be able to pick up those twists and stunts. And I think that's been a real issue for Gadecki so far is being able to pick up those twists and stunts and recognize that and have the footwork to do that. They're not going to put that rookie out there if he can't really show up in pass protection because that's going to put Tom Brady in danger. So I think that's the biggest thing holding Gadecki back right now is the pass game. He's got the run game down. He's a mauler and he can pave some holes. They're pleased with that. But as we know, JP, this is a pass-first offense. Yep. They do want to run the ball more this year, but it's still you got to play to your strengths. And your strengths are Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Russell Gage, Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones, the Fantastic Four.
No question about that. Scott Reynolds joining us from Nashville, where the Bucs and Titans will be practicing today. Carl Nassib showed up yesterday, the newest signee. Of course, we know him well from the 2 years he played with the Bucs and 1 year in Bowles' defense, and had great success there. Not as much success with the Raiders. What are your thoughts on his signing?
I love it. It's something we've kind of been anticipating at Pewter Report all off season.
Yep.
It makes so much sense. When you go back and look, as I did this summer, I was just curious. I went back and looked at all of Shaq Barrett's 19 and a half sacks during that 2019 season. And I wanted to figure out how many are coming from the right side, because we've kind of talked about it before on the air with JPP coming in and kind of playing more on the right side. It's relegated Shaq to play on the left. And, he went from 19 and a half sacks 1 year, the Pro Bowl year in 2019, to only 8 sacks the next year, where he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Had a little bit of a downward turn in terms of statistics. And I went back and looked, and you look at his performance on the right side in 2019, and Shaq had 13 of the 19 and a half on the right side, rushing against left tackles, the blind side of the quarterback. And he had 5 of his 6 forced fumbles also from that right side. So who was the guy on the other side? Well, if you remember the first 6 games of that season, Jason Pierre-Paul was on the physically unable to perform list because of the car accident. So it was Carl Nassib who was the setup man. Remember that hot start that Shaq Barrett had?
Yeah.
He had 9 sacks, in the first 3 or 4 games. That was playing opposite Carl Nassib, who was playing that left outside linebacker spot. And so I really think, and I've asked Todd Bowles this, those two guys just play off each other so well. And yes, you're going to have JTS in the mix, and he's going to see a lot of time opposite Shaq Barrett at least. Nassib's going to be a rotational player just like Anthony Nelson.
Yeah.
But, man, I think for the production that Nassib had, and the fact he's a great setup man in this scheme for other rushers, I think he's going to help JTS when JTS rushes on the right side and Nassib's on the left. So I love the signing. It's a great fit. Carl's in great spirits. Remember, he was a team captain. So I think it's a great signing.
And I'll ask you too about the rookie class, which we've been talking about. It seems like Rachaad White has the most hype around him right now. But there's another guy, that Logan Hall, who was the highest draft pick, and I don't feel like he's been talked about almost a lot. So I'll kind of ask you, as somebody who's been at all these practices and has watched him, I mean, what's the word on Logan Hall? Has he looked the part, or is he just not getting a lot of the reps because of Vita Vea, Akeem Hicks, and all those guys?
Well, he looks the part, but that part is as a rookie defensive tackle, and it's probably the hardest position to come in and make an impact. And you go back to even the great Warren Sapp in 1995. I mean, he had 3 sacks as a rookie, right? The last 3 first-round draft picks, defensive tackles, that the Buccaneers drafted. In 95, it was Warren Sapp. He had 3 sacks as a rookie. In 2010, Gerald McCoy, I think, was the 3rd overall pick, 3 sacks as a rookie. Vita Vea, 2018, 3 sacks as a rookie, right? And they're all different kind of defensive tackles. But the point I'm trying to make is first-round defensive tackles don't get a lot of sack production. It's a learning curve year. Warren Sapp was not Warren Sapp back in 1995. It was really not until 97 that he became Warren Sapp. And it's taken Vita Vea a while to get to that Pro Bowl level. So the great thing for Logan Hall is Akeem Hicks is here. He's going to be the starter. He's going to take the pressure off of Logan Hall. And even though Hall was technically a 2nd-round pick, he's the Bucs' first pick, and it happened at number 33. So to me, the fact that Akeem Hicks is here and he's got somebody that he can lean on and learn from that has been there and done that and been to Pro Bowls at the defensive tackle position, that's a great sign for Logan Hall and in his future. And again, it takes the pressure off, right? He doesn't have to go out there in the first series or 2 and do battle. He can come in and let Akeem Hicks beat up on those guards and centers for the first few minutes of the game, and then Hall comes in fresh, and maybe I think that it's a great way to ease him into the NFL and have some success. I think Hall's going to play a decent chunk because they're going to want to keep Hicks fresh for the season, but I think he's going to be a great reliever rather than a starter.
Scott Reynolds joining us here from practice. Just one more for you. I saw you write in Pewter Report that you believe Suckup has a stranglehold on the kicking competition. Borgalis missing that game winner the other night. So you see Suckup as the guy. I do too. I don't think you can take a chance at this point, especially since you got a rookie punter as well.
It's so tempting, right? Because Jason Light had the choice, right? Do I stick with Matt Gay, who was the 5th round draft pick and had an okay rookie season, missed some big kicks, but also, had some really good kicks, showed some promise. Do you go with him or do you go with Suckup? Well, they went with Suckup in 2020. It proved to be the right call. The veteran leg, kicked over 90% field goals and extra points, scored 136 points. It was the most in franchise history. And so when you look at that, it was the right call then. However, Matt Gay turned into a Pro Bowl kicker for the Rams last year, ended up beating the Bucs with a game winner. And now his trajectory is better, right? Because Suckup's now going to be 36 in September. And at some point in time, the leg's just going to fall off. Hopefully not this year, but they don't know. Yeah. And here you have got Jose Borgalis, who might be the next Matt Gay. Really strong leg, accurate kicker, former Lou Groza Award winner, who's looked good. But as Todd Bowles said, you got to make that kick. Kicking in the NFL is the ultimate pass-fail job. You can grade a quarterback A, B, C, D, or F, depending on, listen, JB, you can have a quarterback come out and throw a pick six and another interception, but if they throw the game-winning touchdown and win the game, you might say, well, they shrugged off the slow start and ended up winning the game, so we'll give this quarterback a B or B minus, right? And they end up winning the game. With kickers, it's did you make it? You did. It's an A. Did you miss it? You did. It's an F.
It's an F.
And you're only as good as your last kick. And I think the team is rooting for Borgalis to win this job. They're putting him in position to. I suspect that after Ryan Suckup, who was a former Tennessee Titan and the veteran, got the kicks yesterday, I think Borgalis gets the opportunities today. But he's got to make those kicks. He's got to show the Buccaneers he can make not just the 55-yarder when there's no pressure, but after getting iced, make that kick to win the game. That's where he's got to make some kicks in these preseason games. And I wouldn't be surprised if they put Borgalis out there again in Tennessee and Indianapolis to see if he can win that job.
Oh, they should, because you know what Suckup can do. He's got a long resume. It's just Borgalis.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, tell the folks what you got going at Pewter Report, all the information from Nashville.
Yeah, we're live in Nashville this week, and we're going to be at the game on Saturday. You can check out our coverage on pewterreport.com. We got post-practice quotes and coverage coming up this afternoon. And you can also follow all the action on our Twitter account, @PewterReport, also Facebook and Instagram, @PewterReport. We're going to have another podcast today. Today is going to be 5 p.m. Eastern time because we're on Central time.
Yep.
So 5 p.m. Eastern time on our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. We just passed 9,000 subscribers to that. So we're on our way to 10,000. Help us get to that number by visiting YouTube and checking out Pewter Report TV and watching our podcast today. And then we'll have another post-game podcast Saturday night.
All right, partner. Great stuff. Enjoy Nash Vegas, and we'll chat with you next week.
You got it, man. Take care.
Thanks. The great Scott Reynolds there. I'm sure I'll be heading downtown for a little barbecue and some good country music. Why wouldn't you? You're in Nashville.
I'm done with that town.
I'm
done with that town.
What happened?
That's the most overrated city.
Oh, God.
Maybe in America.
What?
I did not.
Ever you go to the department store and you got a Grammy level guitar player just sitting there strumming, and he sounds like freaking Jason Aldean. I was sitting at the airport at having a beer, and they got performers all over the place. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's great music. You're a country music guy. What is wrong with you?
That's not the country music. That's, to me, going to a bar and hearing the same songs over. Like everybody's singing Friends in Low Places, and everybody's singing Alan Jackson this, and oh my goodness.
I don't know about
just
that.
Cheap imitation. I don't like
know
it.
about that.
It seems fake to me. It seems very fake to me.
I will say this: my daughter lives there. I'm going to Belmont University, and she'll be playing the stages soon, or directing the music on your favorite movies, is something she would love to do. She says kind of the same thing, that a lot of those are kind of the Broadway girls, as they call them, and that whole thing is a little bit over the top now. But there's other places that you got to go to. You got to know the local stuff. So there's some touristy shit there.
That's all. That's all I took away.
Well, you got to go with the locals, and they take you to the right places. And that's how you do it in Nashville. It's like any other kind of city like that. You got to, I think, anywhere I go, anywhere I travel, I try to dig in with the locals and stay out of the tourist spots.
Like, what's the tourist spot in Tampa? Like, everybody probably just says, "Oh, it's
Clearwater Beach."
Clearwater Beach.
Clearwater
Beach.
Beach.
I would never go to Clearwater.
Yeah,
Beach.
of course not. It's
nobody goes there.
Cheesy, awful.
It's like same way you probably don't go to Ybor.
No, of course not. Not until they, clean it up, put a baseball stadium there. Wink, wink. So we'll have some information about that a little bit later on in the show. Talked to former Mayor Rick Kreisman yesterday for a little bit. I have a couple tidbits for you. But yeah, there's some cool places to go. And even some of that, I will say we went to Old Red, which is a great bar down there in the touristy area. That was fun because it was a lightning private party and we had the album release from Low Cash, and that was really cool. So there's some places you can find, but I think just throwing the city away as you have just done,
I'm throwing the whole thing away. The whole thing away. And on top of the fact that it was too damn cold. Way too damn cold.
Well, we were there.
We were there in February.
Yeah. So go back now. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to jump into the Rays game last night, and they got now a big series coming up against the Royals at home, and we may have a return of some pretty big players. So we'll catch you up to date on all that went on last night and what is to come this week when we come back. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. They've got it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, folks. Go on over there, look at the selection. It's fantastic. If you're a watch collector, Rolex collector, they can help you find whatever you're looking for. And also, ladies, if you have some old gold jewelry or diamonds or whatever that you're not wearing, or maybe it's broken, bring it on into the Gold and Diamond Store so they can fix it, number one. If you don't want that, they can they'll pay you cash for it, or they'll give you something that you want. Go shopping with that money right there in store that you get from what you bring in. So a lot of different things you could do over at the Gold and Diamond Source. And we always thank Julie and Steve Weintraub. Their Hands Across the Bay charities doing great works for domestic violence victims. Great stuff. So we always say support those local companies that support your local community. None better than the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Almerton Road, always online at the Gold and Diamond Source.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
It could end it right here. High fly ball, deep right, going back La Rosarena. See ya! A walk-off grand slam for Josh Donaldson. And the Yankees pull victory from the jaws of defeat. What a big win for the New York Yankees.
Shut the F up, Michael K. The Yankees Network there, courtesy of them. That's a good call. They needed it. I mean, I understand the emotion.
Good call. From the jaws of defeat. You can never go wrong with that line.
Yeah, they needed that. I mean, seriously, that was. I'm just glad that most of the Yankee fans left after the rain delay, so we didn't have an explosion of Yankee fans going crazy there. It was actually kind of a muted celebration, but it's an awful way. If you stayed up till midnight, because it was like right about the toll of midnight is when that happened, and it was a 349-foot blast into the little bleachers in right field there at that rinky-dink ballpark.
It's funny that last night I decided to take Chris Lugo's advice and get to sleep early.
From Bay Area Modern Medical Center.
Medical Center, who was on yesterday.
Yeah.
I decided to take his advice and maybe go to sleep a little earlier.
Turn the TV off, turn the phone off.
Oh, I still had the games on. I fell asleep with the game on my laptop.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. I still had 3 screens going.
I don't think that's what he said. I don't think you listened close enough.
I'm the worst person. Real quick. I have the TV on to like Scott Van Pelt at night, and I have it down really low. I just like to see the pictures.
Yeah.
And then I'm usually have something going on my laptop, like a late game.
Right.
And I have that turned all the way down. I'm just watching. And then on my phone, I have a podcast going.
There you go.
While I'm trying to fall asleep.
And you can't concentrate on any of them if you got 3 of them going.
No.
You're constantly in catch-up mode.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that's what his recommendation was.
I don't think it was, but last night I did fall asleep. He said
there's only 2 things that should happen in the bedroom, and they start with S.
Yeah.
Sex and sleep. And you shouldn't have a TV in there. You shouldn't plug your phone in there. Should be in the other room. I got to work on that too. I can't imagine not having the phone next to me, because all I'm going to do is get up and go get my phone. That's what that's going to lead to. But yeah, you got to be more mentally disciplined.
I would have loved to have not had my phone in the room, because I fell asleep in the 9th inning before the theatrics. Woke up again at like 4 a.m, and I had notifications on my phone. Of course, I checked them.
Of course,
and
you have to, because
was like,
if you don't check them at 4 o'clock in the morning, there's no way you can just leave them till 7. Oh wait, yeah, you probably can.
You probably could.
Of course you can. But what are you going to do? Answer it at 4 o'clock in the morning?
I see the Rays lost 8-7, and I'm like, 8-7. Then I go look at the box score. This is at 4 a.m, by the way. Groggy eyes and everything. And I see that we scored 3 runs in the 9th, and I'm like, how the hell did we lose? Didn't really look at it until this morning. I'm on Twitter doing like a search at like 7:30,
so
and I see all the
name
Donaldson
Colin
stuff.
Poche didn't come immediately to your brain when you saw that?
No, it did not. No, but then I saw the Donaldson home run this morning, and I'm like, oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah, of course. That was the other thing. You can't even watch ESPN then the next day, because they're just going to be, Michael, the Yankees are back. The Yankees are back. And they won 1 game. But that was frankly handed to them. And I don't want to beat up the bullpen too much, because they went 14 1/3 scoreless till that moment. But it's the way they went about it. Poche came in and just made a mess of it, couple of walks. And then they had to bring in Fairbanks earlier than they wanted to. They had to bring him in the 7th. And he walks Judge with the bases loaded on a lot of close pitches there. But he went with the off-speed stuff. And, hell, you're throwing 101. I know it's Aaron Judge, and he's hitting like 366 against fastballs. So I get it. But sometimes, the walks killed him last night. The walks absolutely killed him last night. So Fairbanks came in, walked the guy in. Brooks Raley came in, gave up a home run to Rizzo to make it 4-4. And then you think, okay, you're going into the 10th, and the Yankees got the momentum. But then Mejia comes up with 2 outs, 2 strikes, and Chapman's throwing, 99, 100 and locating. You just kind of feel like Mejia's got no chance. He's got no chance in this situation. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, and he came through in a big way. He Mike Brasso'd Aroldis Chapman.
Ooh,
it wasn't a home run, but it was pretty big. Here it is.
The 0-2, and he hits a ground ball fair by first up the right field line. Quinn scores. Here comes another man. They're going to wave the 3rd run home into second base. Goes Mejia, and the Rays grab a 7-4 lead.
What a right down the right field line, inside the bag. I mean, it's late, kind of a late swing on the fastball, but that fastball was about 101 on the inner half. And just getting the bat on the ball is unbelievable. But tell you what, Mejia, I know we lost last night, but I think I mentioned this yesterday. I think we're 5-1 since he came back in the games he starts.
Yeah, and
it should have been 6-1
and
with that hit.
I didn't want to nitpick yesterday, but I saw the lineup come out, and he was hitting 9th.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, why the hell is this guy hitting 9th? Knowing the fact that I think he has the highest average in that lineup.
He might, yeah.
And he was hitting 9th.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is that?
The second leadoff man, as they like to call it.
Oh, really? That's the thing. That's what we're doing now?
Because he's a prototypical leadoff hitter.
Okay.
He came up, but he came up big.
Came
and
up
so
big
it's like now you got a 3-run lead, for God's sakes, going into the bottom of the 10th. And you got, you got to feel you can't walk anybody in this case. You got a 3-run freaking lead. And Beeks comes in, walks a guy, gave up a single, then walked Rizzo on 4 pitches. For God's sakes. The guy, throw the guy a freaking strike, will you? And then Donaldson came up and hits the weak-ass home run, 349 feet into the
just
little
like the
porch.
Rizzo one.
Yeah, whatever.
I was awake for the Rizzo one.
Yeah, it's just awful.
Well,
just awful.
It's hard to bang on the bullpen because, like you said, 14 and 2/3 scoreless. And in a normal situation, Jason Adams is going to be in that game.
Yeah,
he pitched 3 in a row. They weren't going to go back to him there.
Right.
So you're kind of left with what you had. You had to use a lot of the bullpen yesterday, especially with the rain delay.
Armstrong and Yacobonis, whatever it is, the Yacker. So yeah, that was the best option available.
Yeah, I'm just, in my opinion though, it's like Colin Poche. This is now a few outings in a row where it's been inconsistent. And the Rays, that's kind of what they're missing in that bullpen, besides Raley, is another lefty, a specialist. And Raley gave up his first home run of the year last year, by the way, to Rizzo. But I'm just like, I went into Durham here, and I'm like, there's got to be somebody else in Durham they could trot out there from the left-handed side. And I was reminded they acquired this kid, Garrett Clevenger, from the Dodgers at the deadline. Just his numbers, this sounds like 59 strikeouts in 28 games. And
how many innings?
It doesn't say how many innings it is, but he's a reliever, so I'm going to guess probably around the 28 mark.
Yeah.
35 innings. There it is. 59 and 35 innings.
Shit, that's fantastic.
So, they acquired him at the deadline. I know his results in the MLB this year, only 4 games, have not been great, but
hey, if he's got swing and miss stuff from the left side,
put him in a Rays uniform. Let's see what happens.
He's got to be better than Poche right now. Poche's he's got no confidence, and
I think it's worth putting a flyer at somebody from Durham here.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they look like a major league lineup the other night.
Don't they, though?
Yesterday, Aranda hit another home run. Continues to rake.
I just don't understand why that kid is not up here. That just makes. I know you're looking at positions and whatnot, but man, with a team that's struggling offensively like we are, we seem to find places for guys to play if they can hit or even remotely hit.
Yeah.
And September call-ups, I think you're only allowed to bring up 2 players, though, right? I think it is.
I think that's the rule now. Yeah. So you're limited to what you can do.
Yeah. Usually they pick pitchers. So
talked about slumping offense. I guess it just kind of. Haven't been paying attention, I guess, to who's been slumping and everything. And I realized Brandon Lau, I guess, was in like a 1 for 27 slump.
Yeah, 1 for 28 slump. Got a hit last night.
Man, when he gets in those slumps,
it's awful. He's just so streaky, man. He's
streaky.
So streaky.
And it's crazy because literally last week we were talking about how great he's been since he came back. We talked about, you threw out that stat out there and everything, and immediately he goes into this spell, which happens a lot. So now you got 2 of your really good hitters, Choi and Lau, who are both slumping at the same time. Yandy slumped a little bit as well. So
Yep. Yandy had a great night last night. We didn't mention him. A couple of doubles.
He had a great night.
Great barehanded play.
Harold looks okay, by the way.
Harold, boy, I don't know how the hell he kept that ball fair. he hit one off his shoe tops yesterday out to left field. Was kind of, I think it was probably a 360-foot home run, but whatever. He kind of, I don't know how he kept it fair, but he did. But that was a line. Yeah, it was a line drive, and good to see him back. I mean, that's just, as every one of these guys gets back, the lineup gets a little bit thicker. What's going on with Franco? Did he play again last night, or did he come out?
He did not play last night, but Kevin Cash did say that there's a chance that he can get back in there today for Durham's game. So it does sound like it's literally just general soreness for him, and nothing that they think is going to be a long-term thing. But I don't know. It sounds risky to me. It almost feels like he's here a little too early, because I've watched some of his swings. I know it's just batting practice, but they posted like a video, I think Durham did, of his batting practice, and he just didn't look
right.
It didn't look right. No, I don't know if he was intentionally swinging very light, but
that's probably what he's doing.
But it's interesting because it's before a game, and you think he'd be ramping it up, but it just looked really light.
Typically though, players before the game, they start slow swinging. Their first couple times in the cage, they'll be about 30, 40, 50% kind of working up to the last round they take in the cage, where their last couple rounds where they're going full speed. So that might have been the video you saw. You don't know. But yeah, again, we keep thinking, oh, Franco's coming back and Margot's coming back. It'll be instant offense. It's not going to be that. And we hope it is, and maybe it is, but both of these guys have been out 2.5 months, and it's going to take some time.
In a weird way, I almost feel like the addition of Harold and the addition of Margot helps more at the moment. And hear me out on that. I know it sounds crazy, because I think everybody's going to tell you, Wander Franco's the better player. In theory, he would help out more. But majority of this season, it's been Wander Franco trying to figure out his own way. Around baseball, because they're pitching him a lot differently, right? Yeah. And there's been the splits where he's a much better hitter, I think, righty than lefty, even though he's getting a lot more at-bats lefty because there's more righties in the league. It's natural.
Yeah.
So he's been trying to figure out a lot of things this year. And with all the injuries, I don't want to say it's a lost season for Wander Franco by any means.
Kind of is, though.
It kind of feels like it. Yeah. And I just think that Harold Ramirez, you saw last night and the last 2 nights since he's been in there, he's been great. And Margot, the way he's been hitting in AAA since he came on his rehab, it looks like he's ready to go. I think those guys are more of a lift right now to the lineup, to be honest with you.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that, because it's hard to come back from a hand injury like that.
Yeah, and his injury's harder to come back from, too.
Yeah, so that's – yeah, and again, so our expectations have got to be tamped down a little bit. But remember, this is, this pitching staff is really, really starting, with the exception of last night's mistakes, which really was a residue of an overused bullpen from earlier. So, they got to get that right. They got to get some rest. And, they got the Royals coming in now. So for 4 games this weekend. And, I was watching Spectrum Sports 360 last night. A great show. Always try to catch that. They do a great job with local sports. And they had Dave Worth and Todd Wright on talking about attendance issues at Tropicana Field. And
they didn't ring you up?
Well, they don't bring in the Stu hater. Let's just put it that way. That's not allowed. I don't think you get your credentials revoked for that. But Dave, longtime sportscaster here, obviously Channel 10, 20, 30 years here. He basically said that he doesn't think this is a major league market. And I couldn't disagree with him more. He thinks that the stadium should be in Tampa. But the problem I have with that whole take is that it's just all based on a failed location and a horribly failed location. I mean, I hate spouting these same numbers all the time, and I know we get new people to the show, but it seems like people still don't get it. And to be quite frank with you, Mayor Kreisman, we ran into him yesterday here, and he doesn't want to do any interviews. He wants Mayor Welch to have the floor, and I think that's very magnanimous of him to do so, because he's got a lot to say. He went through a lot with the Rays, and I don't want to, give away anything specifically that he said, and I will not do that. But just in general, he really feels like it's going to be St. Petersburg, that eventually that Mayor Welch and this new RFP, where he's asking all the folks that are putting their RFP is that it's stadium only. There's no option. Rick gave the which I think was the right way to go, by the way. When he did the RFP he said, give me a plan with a stadium and a plan without a stadium. And Mayor Welch has actually done the opposite of that. So, and this is what worries me so much is, and I don't understand how Mayor Welch can say, that his mandate of his election was affordable housing and restoring the black neighborhoods to the Tropicana Field site and opening up these options to
to minority businesses and all this stuff, and then you're going to give $600-700 million to a billionaire and take up half the space of Tropicana Field? It just doesn't jive.
That's what I was going to say. Just to be clear, those
are two completely opposites.
We're talking about redoing the site that they're currently on.
Yeah, putting the stadium in the same failed location where there's 600,000 people within a 30-minute drive. It ain't changing because you can't build any more land over there. And it's St. Pete doesn't need the stadium. They don't need the stadium growth. In fact, they need a convention center. They need something where where the constituents can really benefit from it. That they would benefit from having the Rays there. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but they would benefit so much more. But the cost. Think about the cost that you're taking up more than half the property, and it's going to be a failed location again.
I say it all the time. For anybody out here that hasn't gone out to St. Pete in that area there in downtown, just observe it every single night during the week. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. Every single night of the week, it is lively down there.
And it doesn't change if there's a Rays game or not a Rays game.
If there's a Rays game or not a Rays game. So I think that tells you everything you need to know. For whatever reason, the demographic that's going out to all those bars and clubs or those music venues and the excitement, the rowdies, the pier that they have there, it's a great little area. The fact that the Tropicana Field literally backs up to that, and you have games where you have 10,000 people or less, like you will probably see tonight, by the way, against the Royals. You might see something like that, depending on how many people bought the $15 tickets for the series.
Right. Which there weren't a ton of, by the way.
But school has started now, so it's going to be a little different. No. I'm going to guess. I'm just going to say, let's say 12,000 people tonight.
Oh, no way. Under 10.
Who knows?
Maybe
I'm being optimistic.
Don't forget, cheapest tickets, $30 before fees. And that's one of the reasons the demographic.
I like to think you're cheaper for this Royals.
If you go down there, St. Pete, right? What are some of those places that you go into? You know, a lot of them are smaller, mom and pop owned, great restaurants. You know, and any place you go in there, first thing you do is you're walking in free. I don't know if there's a cover charge anywhere in downtown St. Pete, except maybe some of the clubs. Yeah,
Park and Rec, there's a cover.
Yeah, well, how much? It ain't $35. Yeah,
$5.
But my point
is,
is
probably one of the more fancier.
Yeah,
places.
the point is, people aren't just going to say, "Hey, I'm going to go catch a game." When it happened to you, and you end up spending $200. You know, and that's if you can just go catch a game
for a noon game.
Yeah, and get a $5, a $5 beer and a $10 ticket. People are going, but not the way Stu Sternberg prices them out. That's one of the problems I had with the discussion last night on Spectrum Sports 360. Nobody said one word about Stu, not one word. And when you poll the fans, most of them say they don't want to go because they don't want to support the owner that doesn't support this community and is constantly giving the middle finger to them. It's a big part of it. And he didn't talk about the prices at all. Not one word about how high the ticket prices are. And the bottom line is, you may not think this is a major league market because the owner has done everything wrong in terms of attracting people to his game. Everything. He couldn't be more. He's actually trying to keep people away. And you look around the league, everybody's marketing their team. Everybody has family packages. Nobody's talking about split seasons. Nobody's doing it. Teams like the Braves are building new stadiums when they don't even need it. And the Rangers. And he's talking about going, abandoning his market. Give me a stadium and I'm only going to be here half a year. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. And, that's why baseball hasn't worked here in terms of attendance. Now, let's define success. And I've always said this. The Rays are making money hand over fist. They're winning on the field where the only place they haven't had success is attendance. And that's because the owner chooses to have it that way. So, I mean, I'm not frankly going to lose sleep over it anymore. People don't show up. They don't show up. Teams winning. I can watch them on TV. I can go whenever I want, if I want. My biggest problem is I want a new stadium so I can enjoy the games.
Well,
I hate going over there. I hate going in there.
From an owner's perspective, though, I think I'm correct in saying this. It doesn't matter if they have 5,000 people in there, or 25,000 people.
No, all their money's coming from television.
It really doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't impact a thing. That's what a lot of people think
he's made well over $1 billion in value on this team.
Yeah, a lot of people,
and probably at least 500 million more because that's what he allegedly has in the bank from the lawsuit, and probably way more than that just in profit over these 14, 15 years he's owned the team.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people think that, everything is predicated on what ticket sales are and how many people are in the building.
No.
It's just not like that in baseball.
No.
It's really not. I mean,
the team will continue to win.
They are catering to the TV audience. It's not about the in-game audience. If you go to a game, you'll see that. I said I can't imagine the tickets would be expensive for tonight's game, and I'm correct on that. So
what are they?
$22 for the outfield.
Okay, $22 for an outfield ticket. Still
bad.
too much. That's before fees.
On, that's not.
What is it after fees? You got to add another $7. So it's almost $30 for an outfield ticket for a Royals game.
I feel like.
Yeah, it's come on, man. You can't do it. Nobody's going to walk up and buy that ticket for a Royals game. I don't in a crappy stadium. See, that's the whole thing. If you go to another stadium, you walk in there and it's just there's something magical about the game of baseball. And it's the green grass. To me, it's the green grass. It's the field itself. It's a romantic thing about baseball that is a big sell. And when you go into that atmosphere where like they had in Milwaukee, there was just a buzz. You could feel it through the TV. There was just a buzz about it. It's Chicago, Boston, New York, all these places. I know they're legacy teams, but even some of the newer places like Atlanta. I mean, they pack that ballpark. It's a gorgeous ballpark. And you just don't get that. And if you're going to charge top dollar and give a crappy experience and you don't feel the magic because it's like going into a Walmart, no, the attendance is going to suck. But that's what he chooses. He could have different if he wanted to. He has the money. He has the market. He has the support of local businesses and both cities. They're not going to write him a blank check, but he can still all he has to do is pay for half. Like the Braves and the Rangers did, and he chooses not to. So I'm tired of talking about attendance, to be honest with you, because that's what he wants. And if that's what the owner wants, that's what he's going to get. Go play ball. Sorry, players. Sorry, fans. I mean, it is what it is until he decides to invest in the community, negotiate in good faith, and get the deal done in Tampa, where it should be. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, I want to get to a couple of other stories around college football. A player at FSU has died, 22-year-old. We'll tell you about that. The Big Ten definitely has to change their name now. $7 billion NFL-style TV contract. This is where college football is heading, folks. We'll give you the details when we come back. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Guys, if you're looking for some of those new fashion rings, a lot of guys are wearing bracelets, gold chains, or you want to make something special like Wander Franco loves to do, you could do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source. They've got designers there, excuse me, that will take care of all that. Just bring in your idea, and they'll come up with something really, really awesome. They've got great watches as well for the guys, those baller watches. They have pre-owned watches as well. So if you're looking for a Rolex or a Tag or something like that, and maybe you don't want to spend the big bucks, they have some greatly refurbished ones that you can check out as well. And of course, if you're looking for an engagement ring, no place better to go than the Gold and Diamond Source because of their great customer service, family owned and operated. We know the Weintraubs really, really well. You'll get an honest deal there. You don't know what you're getting if you go to other places. And if you're looking to buy a ring online, what the hell are you doing? You have no idea what you're getting or who you're getting it from. Color, cut, clarity, carat, all that stuff is important, and you know you're going to get what you pay for at the Gold and Diamond Source. So check them out, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey, a couple little news and tidbits from Bucs practice. One, we talked about the offensive line a lot there with Scott earlier in the show, specifically the fact that Gedeke and Stinney did not have a good day against the Titans yesterday in pass blocking. And he said that, if he'd throw 3 arrows out, if you're going to pick which one it's going to be between those two and Walton. Today, Gedeke is working as the first team left guard.
How about that?
Stinney on the second and Walton at right guard today. So it does look like, to your theory, they're going to at least see what they have in Gedeke at this point because he has the most potential. So, and he needs these reps, honestly, against Jeffrey Simmons.
Absolutely. He's got to find, and the Bucs got to see what he can do.
He's got to be the guard of the future. In all respect to Aaron Stinney, he's not that guy.
No. And Stinney played really well.
Though.
But let's remember that was 2 years ago when he filled in on the Super Bowl team and played really, really well. There's a reason he's been a backup. And at this point, when you have a brand new center, I think they were hoping that Stinney would win that job and really show out because they want more experience in that spot. To have Hainsey, Gedeke, and then Shaq Mason, obviously it's got plenty of experience. I don't think they wanted two young guys, but if that's what's going to be best, you better get them ready now. You know what you got in Stinney, you know what you have in Leverett, and I've never, they said this yesterday. Leverett was getting pushed back. I mean, he shows good technique, but he just doesn't seem to hold up. You got to have a little bit more anchor in your ass, as they like to say.
Yeah, and there's obviously improvement with Nick Leverett. They wouldn't have brought him back if there wasn't, but we saw him, and it's unfair to probably judge somebody based on one game that we saw.
Yeah,
but he was in that Indianapolis game, and I recall him getting pushed back a lot, and I was a little concerned in that game for Tom. So
I've not been a big fan of his.
I can't imagine Tom Brady wants him there. Let's just put it that way.
No, and again, and I know people say, well, no quarterbacks like pressure in their face. Yeah, but most quarterbacks can scramble out. Brady can't. So there's nowhere for him to go if he's getting pressure in his face. He's got to get rid of the ball or he's going to take a hit, and you just can't have that. So I'm still, is J.C. Tretter still out here? Did the Browns sign him?
You and your J.C. What does that help right now?
We're talking I don't know. Have a very experienced the fifth best center in the
now.
It doesn't matter.
We're talking about guards now.
Well, guess what? You can move Hainsey to guard.
You're not moving Hainsey to guard this late in the camp. It's not happening.
He played guard last year.
Okay, but he's been training as a center this entire time.
Well, that's fine. He can be the backup center. Are you a
it's
better?
Too late in the game for this.
Are you a better offensive line with Tretter at center and Hainsey at left guard?
To be honest, I don't know.
Of course you are. Come on.
At this late in the game, I don't know.
A guy that was ranked 5th by PFF last, and I know. Look, and people say, "Oh, his tape is soft." Okay, What's Hainsey's
Why is he
tape
not
tell you?
signed, though?
Probably because he's the freaking NFLPA president. That's why.
Yeah.
But listen, or maybe he wants too much money. We don't know what he wants. We don't know. I'm sure he's looking for a long-term deal. And I get all that, but I'm just saying you can't sit there and say we're a better football team without him.
Without him, as if we had him already. No.
Yeah, but
he's probably going to be a Brown in the next few hours, and then we can put this to rest because they're working on their third center. Okay, so if there's anything for them to do, they're going to go back and beg him to come back. Which maybe he doesn't want to go back. Maybe he's like, no, you've screwed me this entire offseason. I don't want to come back. Who knows?
I haven't read all these stories, but here's one that says Joel Bitonio wonders whether J.C. Treader is being blackballed for his stance on player safety. Treader's still a free agent because of his takes as the NFLPA president. See, I don't think that would be a problem with the Bucs though, with Brady and everything else. I would NFLPA president Treader rips NFL Soldier Field standards. I mean, the NFL. We were talking a little bit about this with about Carl Nassib. Everybody knows he's the first openly gay player. I didn't want to make a big deal about it because he doesn't want to make a big deal about it. But it is great to acknowledge that the work that he has done since he came out publicly, and with the Trevor Project matching, I think $100,000 in grants, and it's fantastic what he has done, and it certainly has had social implication, no doubt about it. And I was kind of thinking, being almost 60 years old, I go back to, very early on in life and hearing, when you first understand about, gay people and LGBTQ and all this, and you first start wondering about it, what it's all about. Back in my day, we didn't have kindergarten teachers telling us what it was all about, or first grade teachers, thank God. But you learn about it. And, early on in my life, there was certainly a stigma about it. But man, I look how far we've come in the last 50 years as far as acceptance of LGBTQ, and it's amazing. It's tremendous. It's probably not where it needs to be for the LGBTQ community, but it's tremendous. We have come such a long way, and for him to be able to come out and do that, it's important to people, and I think it's pretty cool.
I go back to just 10 years ago with Michael Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really the first openly gay player.
Yeah.
And he got drafted, I think, in like the 7th round.
And he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
Missouri was like a couple of plays away from getting to the national title game that year. People forget.
Yeah.
And Michael Sam was the best player on that team. Could hardly get drafted. I think he got drafted by the Rams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I think he had like 4 or 5 sacks in the preseason.
Yeah.
And he was cut and never got another chance.
Never got another shot. Never even got invited to another camp, as far as I know.
10 years ago.
Yeah. And look at Nassib. Now, I understand that Nassib said he had a lot of offers, but he was being picky about where he wanted to go, and he wanted to come back to Tampa Bay. So, but I thought, is this guy not getting any offers? Like, what the hell's going on?
And a lot of people kind of tried to say that. They tried to say that, maybe he's not getting the offers because of being gay and all that. But he played the entire season last year already with everybody knowing that.
Yeah.
He did. And to me, it's like, if you're a good player, you're a good player, end of story.
But he didn't, he wasn't starting for them.
No, he was a reserve role.
Yeah. And again, guys' talent, roles and defenses and are really important. There's some teams that'll see you as he's not good enough, and other teams like the Bucs obviously can put him in a certain position and ask him to do certain things. That's why Belichick has been such a great coach all his life, is he gets guys that can do certain things, sets up the defense to take advantage of the thing they do really well, kind of like the Rays do with pitchers. And, whatever it is that Nassib can do really, really well, and there's a lot of good stuff. He's good against the run. He's got good complementary pass rush moves. Within this Bucs scheme, he's productive, 12.5 sacks in a couple of years.
Oh, well, you listen to Scott Reynolds. He said he went back and watched all the sacks with Shaq Barrett, and what was a common theme there again?
Nassib was on the other side.
There you go.
So, defense is about working as a team, and clearly he works really well in this system. So I think he's, this is a home run.
Yeah.
Big time. So good to see him out there and getting some reps. All right, we'll take another. I want to get to the Big Ten thing here. We'll do that on the other side. We'll just take a break. We'll come back. I want to explain this Big Ten media rights deal because, man, this is a game changer in college football in a lot of different ways. And my man Nick here has one huge problem with this already. I mean, huge problem. And I agree with him. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with a professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. James Patralco from Fox Sports is going to join us in a little bit. But I want to remind you that we are brought to you by our newest sponsor, Emerging Investigation, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, or an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior, or do you have a criminal matter you need some help with? Well, you can count on the professionals at Emerging Investigations. They are family-owned and operated business, ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Don't take matters into your own hands and go snooping around on social media or putting GPS trackers on it. You're going to get bad results and probably have no idea what you're doing. Emergency Investigation maintains an excellent reputation as the premier agency in Tampa Bay. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated
dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims and divorce. Many local attorneys, insurance agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. So go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT, and find out what's going on. All right, you know what's going on in the Big Ten, which is the Big 14, soon to be the Big 16, soon to be the Big 20? First of all, they should be looking for a new name and a new branding. Second of all, they're swimming in cash. They have agreed to a $8 billion with a B, 7-year deal. And it's going to be carried across many networks. Fox, CBS, and NBC are going to hold a draft for games each week, allowing each network some opportunities for first selection in a given week. So the big game is going to rotate into different places. What's interesting about this is NBC is getting in with the Big Ten. You know who NBC has, right? As their main property. Notre Dame. So as everybody kind of penned Notre Dame into the ACC, this tells me is a little clue that these ACC teams are going to be looking to jump, and Notre Dame's going to be leading the way. I don't think this deal would be as big as it is and they're trying to keep it all very secretive unless they weren't absolutely sure Notre Dame was jumping in. And I don't think NBC would jump into this if they didn't know Notre Dame was going to be part of it. Am I reading the tea leaves correctly, sir?
I think you're onto something there.
I think we might be. So this starts in 2023. CBS is going to carry 7 Big Ten games while it still has the SEC on CBS at 3:30. So for next season, it's going to be kind of a hybrid for 23. The network will continue to be the home of Big Ten men's basketball, and nobody cares. Quote from Sean McManus, chairman of CBS Sports. When we did our financial analysis and looked at the major markets, even before USC and UCLA and the national footprint of the Big Ten, it was a very attractive deal for us. And I think the money is fair. It's unprecedented. They're the largest deals in the history of college football. And what's the big problem you have with it? I think you have some audio to go along with this, right?
Yes.
So this is something they put on Twitter, right, today?
This is what I have a problem with. I'll get my thoughts on it after we play it.
All right. That's just wrong. Remember, the people can't see this. They can only hear it. Well, I'll narrate this for the people that can't see it. These are all Big Ten highlights that are going on here.
I was getting to that after I just played my little jingle there. When you hear that music, what do you think of?
SEC on CBS.
That's SEC. That's 3:30. That's SEC.
Gary Danielson.
That's 3:30. That's Keith Jackson. That's Vern Lundquist. That's Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson for recently.
Yeah.
That's football, man.
Yes.
That's the South.
Yes.
That is football at its finest. And to see that music with Big Ten highlights in the background, that song, if the SEC is not going to be on that channel, that song needs to be retired. Because that's sacrilegious. That's blasphemy. It's all those words rolled into one.
Evidently, CBS does not agree because they're putting it in your face with that.
Stop trying to make the Big Ten, the Midwest, as big as the South in football. Stop doing that.
Well,
it's not.
Well, if you're a fan of the SEC, consider this, that your major rights holder is now Disney. I'll say that again, SEC fans. Your major rights holder owning all the production of your games is going to be done by Disney. Once the most magical place in the world, now the most woke place in the world. So chew on that, SEC fans. How you like that? How you like them apples? Starting in 2023, NBC will launch Big Ten Saturday night in prime time and broadcast 15 to 16 games per season. The agreement with NBC also includes 8 football games and dozens of men's and women's basketball games per season to be exclusively streamed on Peacock, the network's online subscription service. NBC also has a separate long-standing broadcast deal with Notre Dame, which remains unaffiliated with the conference. Not for long.
Wait, did I hear? Go back up there. What's being on Peacock again?
The agreement with NBC also includes 8 football games and dozens of men's and women's basketball games per season to be exclusively streamed on Peacock.
8?
8.
Football, right?
Yeah. It could be Illinois, Rutgers too.
Yeah. What if they pull a power move and it's like, hey, Ohio State, Michigan, Peacock.
Well, they'll do that with one of those games.
One of those.
They better not
games.
do it with that game. But
maybe
they'll
not
do
that
it
game. But if they wanted to,
well, that's how they do with these streaming services.
And that's just the whole point, though. This is college football now. This is just college football.
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL.
So let's pay the players.
Exactly.
I mean, for God's sakes, that's the first thing that comes to my
now.
mind.
If you're a Big Ten football player, if you're a Big Ten athlete, and you're hearing that your conference is getting $10 billion and counting probably for the next decade, and you're having
for 7 years,
and you're just having to get NIL deals to get money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and think about this. That money. I'm trying to do the math on this, but you're looking at probably $1 billion a year to split up between all the teams. So you're looking at what, $70-80 billion per team. I mean, $1 million per team per year. But we can't afford to pay the players. And that's just TV money. Before you sell one ticket, one sponsorship, one booster donation to get your tickets. The money is just out of control. But we can't afford to pay the players because we got to pay our coaches. We got to pay our strength coach $1 million. Got to pay our athletic director $2.5 million to schedule games. So there you go. All right, let's welcome in our good friend James Patralco from Fox Sports. Travels the nation with Fox NFL doing games with our good friend Chris Myers, who's been doing the Bucs game. You've also been doing the Bucs games as well, have you not? Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, I'm doing well, thanks. Doing the Bucs, and Chris and I were talking about this last week. 19 years we've been doing the Bucs preseason games together.
Nice.
This is our 19th year. Crazy.
Yeah. And Chris has worked with, let me think about it. Back when I was working with him, we had Jaws, right?
Right. Ryan Jaworski.
Jaws. Then we had Charles Davis.
Yeah. And then John Lynch was for a couple of years, and then Rondé.
Rondé came in before, and
this
then
is 10. I think Rondé said this the other day. This is 10th year with him
with News Channel 8. Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the broadcast last week, by the way. Lots of because you're watching the game, but you also want to get Rondé's thoughts on all the players. He does a great job of weaving in all the stories and the things he's seeing at camp, and that's kind of the way it should be, right? That's one of the. I'm sure when you're in a production meeting, that's a big focus.
Yeah, exactly. Because with preseason, you never know what the game itself is going to look like. How it's going to be, and so and we're. Unlike our national broadcast with Fox, we're going to a Bucs audience. So I think they're more concerned with, how's camp going? What's the battle at, this position or that position? How's this player developing as opposed to, 5-yard catch, tackle, so the nuts and bolts of the game. So, yeah, and Rondé does a great job. His preparation is great. And they weaving in the storylines, and incorporating it with what's happening on the field.
Hey, I got to ask you, the first time we've had you on StreamYard, are you in the prison or the relocation program?
Yes. I'm trying to undisclosed location.
Undisclosed.
In the bunker.
We're gonna spice that up a little bit next week.
I know. I need to get a banner or something.
Yeah, you probably got a few trinkets at home. I was waiting to see your Fox Sports banner and all your press passes from all these places. You get the blank wall working. The minimalist look. Okay, we'll go with that. Mm-hmm. So what other things are you looking for this week as you guys get ready to head up to Tennessee to do this broadcast?
I think, to see if Kyle Trask was pretty impressive last week, more so than he had been in camp. So to see how he, progresses and how he plays this week. The offensive line, I think, is still, some concerns there. And then some of the other, I think more starters will play this week. So we'll get a better, with some of the, especially offensive line, how the development's going, some of the position battles. I think that's kind of what we're looking for more this week.
Can I suggest something that maybe you could bring up at the production meeting? Can we, and because typically you'll have a couple ISO cameras, right? What do you have? 3 or 4 ISO cameras? Not as many as an NFL game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So could we get a little ISO on Hainsey and the 2 guards? And like from time to time, especially on running plays, zero in and see how they let Rondé break down how they played against, especially Jeffrey Simmons is going to be out there for the Titans. I would really like to see the interior offensive line, nobody ever does that with an isolation camera, right?
Right. But no,
I'm watching the game and I'm like, that's what I want to see.
No, that's a great idea. I will definitely pass that along. Especially, I think, obviously outside of Brady not being here, but the biggest story I think for the Bucs, this going into the season is how that interior line you're replacing, 3 starters. So how they mesh together and how they're doing. Now, I don't know how much Shaq Mason's going to play, but the battle for the center with Jensen out and then the left guard.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part of it. James Patralco joining us here from Fox Sports. Any other things we could look for this week in the Bucs game? Is Rondé going to be covering why he thinks Tom Brady is out, or how it's going to affect the team? We going to get any vacation photos?
I don't think so.
Damn.
I think we're just going to kind of let that
just
go
let
as it is.
But
the one thing I will say, and talking or being around the game last week and being around some of the people from the Bucs, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of concern about him, how he's going to perform, when he'll be back and things like that. So I don't think anybody's too worried about it.
Yeah, I think from a football standpoint, this has given Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert a great opportunity for Gabbert to get ready for the season and for Trask to show, what he can do. Because, we were talking about this week. Trask has always been known as a gamer. Even in Florida, you'd hear stories that, he was awful in practice. It's why he was a backup most of his life, even in high school. He just doesn't practice well. And he got in the game the other day, and he looked great. I thought he did a fantastic job, and I think the Bucs really want to see him when the lights are on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, one of the biggest things that he struggled with, I think, is his decision-making. And that was really on point last week. I think the one interception, it was a crazy play. That's probably a ball that you would like him not to throw or take the sack. But other than that, his decision is, getting in position to make for the potential game-winning field goal. And I thought he was very impressive.
Well, we were just talking, James, about your Fox employers. They're shelling out a lot of money for this new college football deal. Have you seen this? $8 billion.
Yes.
For 7 years. They've gotten into the college football game recently, obviously with the Big Ten noon game, but still, I think a minority player in the grand scheme of things. This puts them, I think, in the premier slot with as many games as they're going to get. And it really is interesting to see where they're going to go now, because they got 16 teams with UCLA and USC coming in. That opens up 4 spots, and I think they are going to be much coveted. No question about that.
Yeah, and they're it's going to keep expanding. And also being a Michigan grad, from the Big Ten perspective, I think it's great for the Big Ten as well. To get that exposure, and to, like Nick said, we are Midwest football is bigger than the South.
Oh, that was a shot there, buddy.
Actually, no. I be honest, it was back when I was in school.
Yeah,
but, that was obviously a long time ago. But but I think it does get us maybe not on par with the SEC and that, but I think it definitely helps get the exposure, and so I think it's big.
What's interesting about that is I kind of think about it. We've always thought about rivalries in college football as SEC versus ACC in some way. There was always a lot of talk about them when those games happened, regional rivalries. You could see, I think, a real rivalry develop between the leagues, the Big Ten and the SEC, because if they both become the 20-team leagues, super leagues that we think they're going to be, or maybe it's someday they go to 24, that'll be interesting when they play off, because it's going to, 2 different networks, 2 different conferences. That could be something that would develop. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll get even bigger. And I think also, with Fox, it's good for our rivalry, such that it is with ESPN. That's a big, could be blow to ESPN now to lose that, and for for Fox to gain it. So
yeah, I was just saying how the SEC fans must love the fact that Disney is now owning and producing all their games. I can't wait. Can't wait to see what that's going to look like over there on ESPN. And hey, have you done any meetings with your Fox people yet this year? Fox NFL people? Those are always interesting.
Yeah,
they're all about.
Not yet. We do have a different crew a little bit this year. We'll be with Robert Smith, the former running back. He'll be our analyst this year.
Okay.
Instead, Daryl Johnston they was switched to another crew. So, but Robert, we worked a game with him last year, and great guy. So,
Yeah.
you know, he went to Ohio State, but
how's that going to work out with you guys? Yeah, okay, all right.
That should be a lot of fun. But no, so it'll be. But we're excited. We'll be starting up pretty soon, so it's great to be back. And
you get to work with Chris again, Chris Myers.
Right. Yeah, it's always
horrible
Chris.
Right
yeah.
I mean, comparatively speaking to, he's got to be the easiest guy and the best guy to work with in almost all of football. He's such a good dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I mean, 19 years, that's a long time. We've been longer than I was married, actually. But so
it's because you only got to see him 4 times a year. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Regular season too, so it's more than that. But no, he's a great. We need to get him on tomorrow to talk some Bucs football.
Yeah.
All right, partner. Anything else going on in your world and NFL stuff that you wanted to talk about?
No, like just gearing up for the season. Got 2 more Bucs games this week, which look forward to see this, and then next week I think the third game will be interesting too to see. If anybody plays, if the starters play at all, since they didn't play in the first game. If he's back, I think he would at least try to get him a few snaps because he did play in the. Well, he might be a little more. If he, we don't know for sure.
Panic in Buck Nation here. What are you doing?
No, he'll be back.
I at the production meetings just said if Brady comes back for the third game. See, I hear this stuff. I know how people think that's what they're going to say. What do you mean if? And Bowles was like, well, there's always a doubt, that he might not come back. Come on, let's not start this. He'll
be back. But he did in the third game last year, the third preseason game last year, that he did play a couple series. So, I would expect that if he's, if I keep saying if he plays when he's back.
Oh God, it's too far. All right, you've ruined it now. No, the rest of the show.
I think he's joining the Live Tour. I think that's why he's been away for.
Hey, he can make a hell of a lot more money.
Yeah,
I bet those sheiks would pay him about $700-800 million to come play on the Live Tour. Probably give him like 4 strokes before he even starts. Give him a handicap. Yeah, it gives her. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, James, good stuff, my friend. We'll chat with you each week as you guys tour the NFL, and we always get some great inside scoop from you on the games you're doing. So we look forward to it again this year.
Thanks, JP. I appreciate it. Great to be back.
And work on that background, will you? Come on.
Yeah.
The plain white wall just does not work. I mean, come on. You got 1 billion press passes. Put something up there.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I cleaned out my bag yesterday and I threw away some of mine from last year.
What are you doing? Come on. Give us something next week. We'll be looking forward to it. All right.
All right.
Thanks, partner. James Patralco,
take care.
Fox Sports. All right. We'll take another quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We got some Bucs audio for you. We'll hear from, I wrote it down here somewhere. Who's talking? Logan Ryan talked yesterday. We'll hear from Todd Bowles, had a little something to say, and maybe some other guys too. So stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Hi, my name is Mike Warner, a Navy vet. I've had problems with addictions throughout the many decades. Something saved my life, and that is the Heroes Mile program.
Hi, I'm Bill Lennox, retired Lieutenant General, United States Army. If you have any challenges in alcohol, drug, if you have PTSD, MST, think about Heroes Mile.
Heroes Mile, a recovery center for veterans by veterans. Call 1-888-VET-NOW2 to learn more or visit heroesmile.com.
The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're brought to you by the great folks at Emerging Investigations, BAMMC.com. We had Chris Lugo on yesterday, some great information about weight loss and testosterone replacement therapy that we'll put back out there up today. If you want to go back and listen to it, of course, you can always go to our website, fanstreamsports.com, listen to the shows there or on YouTube as well. So we thank them. And also our good friend Scott at amstampa.com. That's his email address. If you're looking for a mortgage or a refinance, they have got a really, really cool program. And it kind of depends on the address that you're buying the home. So you got to call them to find out if your address qualifies. It's called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Check this out. No money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance. The loan amount can be up to $647,000, can be up to that amount. Obviously you could do lower. Now there are some requirements. You got to be single family home, got to be a primary residence and have a minimum 640 credit score, but it just depends on the neighborhood that you're looking at. They're trying to incentivize certain neighborhoods to get investment in them. So Call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com, and see if the property you're looking at or where you live will qualify for a refinance. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, folks. You'll get rates that are lower than you can get anywhere else. No money down, no mortgage insurance, no origination fee. So it's a great deal. It's called the Community Advantage Loan Program, scott@amstampa.com. All right, we got to update this. This is important. Tristan Wirfs got hurt at practice. Oh, my God. Like, this is disaster.
Yeah, I'm searching for like a newer update here, but as of 20 minutes ago, he suffered looked like a core injury. He came up with a core injury and was taken to the side to the trainer, who has been very busy today, by the way, because we've had
Zion. That could be really bad, and it could be nothing.
Yeah, it could be something, could be nothing. I'm sure we won't get any update after when Bull speaks, because we never do. But I'm trying to go through and see if there's any updates here. But
Tyler Johnson looked like he hurt his right leg, I think, earlier.
Yes, that happened earlier. And then Zion McCollum is out for the rest of practice with a hamstring, so probably won't see him on Saturday.
That's a red alert, though, on Tristan Wirfs. We see what the team looks like without him.
Yeah, we have to monitor that one for sure. But a lot of Bucs get nicked up already. I'm not liking
it's football, man.
That's football.
It's football, and it's when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, they had the least injuries of anybody in football. It's a huge part of it, folks. So much of this, as I say this every year, I think you got about 8 to maybe 10 teams that can win the Super Bowl. I think 8's kind of like the honey hole there. And of those 8 teams, you look at the injuries that happen to them, and not just how many, but where they happen at. And you tell me that, give me in a crystal ball, and I'll tell you who's winning the Super Bowl. It's that important. I mean, things have got to go your way to win the Super Bowl. And last year, look at the Bucs. When Tristan Wirfs got hurt, when they lost, AB obviously didn't get hurt, but when you lose a Godwin and a Tristan Wirfs, it's going to be tough. And you look at the Rams. The Rams, they didn't really lose. I'm trying to think back. They lost any really key players.
Not until the Super Bowl.
Not until Super Bowl. Yeah, but he'd already made his mark in the game, So, yeah, not good. So we'll be watching Tristan Wirfs, no question about it. Hey, LeBron got his deal. $97 million over the next 2 years. Thank you, China. $97 million over the next. I always wonder how they can pay this much money to these guys. And I guess when you're getting like $1 billion a year from China, you don't say anything about them, and you make a lot of money. $97 million for a 38 for a year is 38 and 39 years. Is that how old he is now?
Yeah. This game's so out of left field for you. I didn't know you were going to bring this up today.
That's a lot of money.
I know it's a lot of money, but you were telling me before we started, you're like, how could they give him all this money?
Well, it's not. I get it.
38-year-old.
I get it, but he played 50 games last year?
Around there, yeah.
So you can play more this year? No, and they didn't make the playoffs, so he's fresh.
Not because of him.
Well, and he played more than Anthony Davis did, and Russell Westbrook unfortunately played a lot. But I mean, is there not even a thought that maybe I take 30 a year and take that extra 20 or 30 left over?
I don't know how
20 million left over to go out and to get some more players.
NBA contracts are really odd. I don't know if
he has a choice.
Does he have a choice to even really take a lot less?
I think he does. I mean, you're allowed to take less money. It's just never a thing.
Or is he just this is what he's eligible for, and he's just going to take that?
Exactly. You're eligible for it.
Because I know James Harden said something.
He took less money.
He said he was going to take less money to allow the team to add more guys. Which
if there's any team that needs that,
I find it ironic. He almost took $40 million as a
but if there's any team that needs to add guys, that's up against it because of the salary cap, because Russell Westbrook took his full $37 million.
Anything?
Or is it 47? I don't know.
What if they added?
Guy can't make a layup. He's making $40 million.
No, but I'm seriously though. Have they added anything of note?
They can't. They're up against. They got no cap room. That's the whole point.
Seeing all these reports how they're which this is funny to me, right? They're trying to go get Kyrie Irving, and they were refusing to give up their 2028 and 2029 first round picks. Those really matter. And now they decided they're okay to include them. And I think Brooklyn still said nah.
What would they do with them?
I don't know what's going on. Brooklyn has 2 stars that don't want to be there. And we're getting closer and closer to October when the season starts, and they're still on this team.
Which I don't understand, because if Durant doesn't want to play with Kyrie and Ben Simmons. And he bought, by the way, did we mention this? Durant bought Brady's old house.
Brady's old house in
Boston.
Outside of Boston, yeah.
So, I mean, he's not just moving to Boston because it's such a wonderfully welcoming place for minorities.
Who wants him? This is odd. Is this not?
He's the best player in the game, and nobody wants him.
In the game, and nobody wants him.
I think people want him. They just don't want.
But here's the
Brooklyn's
thing,
asking for,
Okay, but here's the thing. Boston. Did you see the report the other day? Boston's refusing to give up Robert Williams. Come on. Okay, Robert Williams, a good player in this league. You need guys like that to win a championship. I'm not debating that. But come on,
a key piece.
It's Kevin Durant, for crying out loud. And you're going to say, oh, well, we can't give up Robert Williams.
Well, they got to give up
just how the Suns,
more.
Oh, we can't give up DeAndre. Come on. Yes, you can. It's Kevin Durant. There's something I'm missing here. Maybe it's just teams just don't want this guy in the building.
Well, why would you? Why would you?
It's just really odd,
the guy's he's a drama queen. I mean, he's constantly, on Twitter and I mean, it's constant. Look at why is he leaving Brooklyn?
Because things got a little too hard for him.
Well, okay.
And by the way, this was his creation.
Exactly.
Go there.
You gave him everything he wanted. He's still not happy. Oh, sign me up. I want him in my organization. No, nobody wants him because of that.
It's just I've never seen a situation where you have a top 5 player in the game and it's this hard to move him.
Because he's a diva. And he's getting older too. How old is he now? 33?
He's 33, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like LeBron's 5 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
And if LeBron said tomorrow, hey, I want the Lakers to trade me, are the Celtics really going to be like, oh, I can't give up Robert Williams for LeBron?
Well,
no.
Well, would I trade, if I'm the Celtics, would I trade Robert Williams and
Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. Would I?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
For LeBron James at 38 years old? Hell no.
It's not about you. It's about winning a championship. If you put LeBron on that team, they're going to the finals. Going to the finals.
Without
and I know the Celtics just went to the finals as they're currently constructed, so that sounds ridiculous.
But without Robert Williams and Jaylen Brown, they're going to the finals. You know that? How many games is LeBron going to play? How many more years is he going to play? How many years is Jaylen Brown going to play? 10? And I know he's not.
Jaylen Brown is nowhere the player LeBron James is.
He's even right now?
No, he's not even close. He's not close.
He's not
close to LeBron. He's not close to KD.
But it's about team. If I'm the Celtics, why am I breaking up this team?
And the argument to that is because you just got to the NBA Finals, right? And you got 2 games away from winning it. And you may feel
like they had injuries, and
you
without
may
the
feel
injuries,
like
they
there's
probably
no
would have
point
won.
in doing this. And because we're so young, we have so many years ahead to do this. I get all that.
Yeah,
I see it from that perspective. I'm just saying that if it's a deal where you're like, man, I really don't want to give up Robert Williams, that's just asinine to me.
Well, I think if I'm the Celtics, I'm like hanging up the phone. I'm working on just building that team from within. They're right there, and they're going to get better. Their young stars are going to get better. If I'm the Boston Celtics, why are you entertaining any of this nonsense?
And I will say too, Kevin Durant in Boston, just how Kyrie Irving in Boston.
No way.
It just doesn't feel like it's going to work.
No way.
I don't know, but I have that opinion on Kevin Durant at this point. I don't know where you could put him anymore, and it's going to work at this point. I've given up on him. This is why I said if you're Brooklyn, listen, you own Kevin Durant basically in his contract.
Right.
Send him to Sacramento. Just send him to Sacramento and let him deal with it from there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it. Here's a really piece of sad news, folks. Luke Knox, the brother of Bills tight end Dawson Knox, has died. FIU football player. He appeared in 23 games at Mississippi before joining FIU this year. School officials said the cause was not revealed, though the university said police do not suspect foul play. He's 22 years old. Just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. There's a lot of quotes in here, but they're not going to reveal the cause of death, which is odd. Normally if there's not foul play or whatever, they're going to tell you what's going on. But he was not, not that this matters. He wasn't a real key player at Mississippi, played a lot of special teams, was listed as a linebacker, but, being the brother of Dawson Knox, obviously, it's big news and it's tragic news. And you hate to see this. Just heartbreaking. So you're going to probably hear a lot about that. Luke Knox at FIU. What else do we need to get to today? Oh, here's yesterday. I want to get into this a little bit as well. Big things happen in the USF, and I have some key information here for you as well. They are going to announce in the next week or so a big media rights change for them as well. So they're going to be much more. You'll be able to access. I can't tell you a lot of details on this, but you'll be able to access their games much easier. It's a big deal for USF. They're going to be a much bigger player on the media scene here in Tampa Bay with what's coming down the track for them. So it's all good news for USF. I just, I've said this for, the past few months hanging around the folks at USF. I emceed a couple of their events. The Jeff Scott, the good friend of the program, we hopefully will have him on in the probably next week sometime. There's just big things happening at USF. Everybody feels it. It's not just Gary Bohannon coming over from Baylor. They've got an experienced quarterback now. They got a ton of guys that came in the transfer portal, new facilities going up over there. Now the new stadium is a reality. I mean, this is happening. And yesterday they had their big luncheon, which was sold out. Big deal. New president, Rhea Law, who, by the way, is a huge factor in this. She is very, very much in the understanding that athletics is huge and key in the profile of your university. And I couldn't, Judy Genshaft just did not feel that way. She was all about the academics, and I get that. And it's, and she built that university into a very big academic player, which brings in a lot of money. But if you want to be a big player in the state, you got to care about athletics and specifically football. You see what it's done with UCF, right? At one time, USF was so far ahead of UCF in football. USF took their eye off the ball, didn't get the support from the administration that they needed to. UCF did, and they're in the Big 12, and USF is not. And that's my opinion why. The new president, not going to let that happen. The new athletic director, Michael Kelly, not going to let that happen. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed a little bit, but I think they've got the right people in place now to make a move, and I mean a serious move. And that starts with this new stadium, which Michael Kelly said yesterday believes will be online by 2026. How about that?
Well,
that's before a Rays stadium, by the way.
Yeah.
Just
I've been telling you since we started talking about this subject last year. That's when you didn't really. You kept bringing up, they're playing in an NFL facility. It should work. And I kept saying, no, you have to have the on-campus stadium. I
was wrong about that.
Yeah, the importance of it is just you can't even really describe it. But getting the on-campus stadium, and more importantly, honestly, winning football games is what's going to help USF get to the next level in regards to conference realignment and all those things. You have to win football games. And I think that's what people need to understand here. And USF's doing everything they can to make themselves a presentable program at the moment. They have the indoor facility, which looks fantastic. I'd love to go over there and check it out one day. The stadium is going to look fantastic when it gets up. The other little things, I mean, they got the new uniforms going, and they went back to the old traditional type. They got rid of the awful South Florida neon yellow, whatever, puke branding, whatever you want to call it. And they're definitely going back to their roots with that. Now you got to win football games, and you got to get people in the stadium that you're playing in now. I think there's so much more buzz this offseason than there's been.
Yeah.
Probably since the Quentin Flowers, type days that we had here, Dearness Johnson and such. I want to see people get in that stadium for that BYU game opening day.
Yeah.
How many people can be put in that stadium? And it's going to be all USF fans, because I don't think there's going to be many BYU fans traveling.
I think they will travel.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But how many people can be put in there in the game in week
for
one?
Them. God, I'd like to get 40,000.
I was going to say 40,000.
Let's at least fill the lower bowl,
Minimum.
I mean, it's a top 25 team coming in here. You got a new quarterback. You got a lot of optimism. Bucs aren't playing that weekend.
No.
It's week 0. FSU plays the next day.
Yeah.
The Gators play that Saturday. When do they play Utah? Yeah. Regardless. Yeah. I'm not sure what time the game is. I hope it's not a nooner.
I think it's I thought it was a 4:30.
Please be a night game.
Let me confirm that right now.
We need to outlaw day games.
It's not September. A nooner. I know that.
God,
yeah, yes. It's a 4:00 game. It's a 4:00 game.
Better. Still hot as hell. Why can't we just do a night game? God, TV. I hate you.
Well, it's TV. It's
sometimes I hate you, TV.
It's called TV.
I know.
Unfortunately,
I
USF's
know.
brand is not exactly warranting
You go where they stick you.
a 7 o'clock primetime slot.
Yeah.
So you'll take 4 o'clock though. But yeah, I want to see the USF fans. If you really care about this team and you really feel the buzz and the excitement, I mean, that's as big as you're going to get right there is against BYU this season. I mean, obviously UCF at the end as well. But you're going to draw a massive amount of UCF fans for that one at the end. But right now, get people in that stadium and win football games.
Yeah. So yesterday, in the story of In the Times, is the Bulls identified a site just north of the current practice fields as the spot for the 35,000 seat stadium. That's perfect. 35,000 is perfect. On Wednesday, Kelly told the audience he featured the entire 2022 Bulls football team and staff. Once completed, USF will possess one of the finest athletic facility corridors in the country. He says, I'm not just saying this from hyperbole. When you think that we'll have a brand new stadium, a really great arena, Yuengling Center, which is beautiful. They redid that thing, and it's tremendous. We have all of our athletic venues within about 300 yards of each other. That's a big deal. No one has the ability to build on a relatively new campus to be able to do that. The stadium would be nearly adjacent to the sprawling new indoor practice facility, which the football team hopes to be able to utilize at some point early this season. I saw some pictures of that. In fact, Law, chosen as the school's 8th president in March, told the audience Wednesday her inauguration will be held in the indoor practice facility. So, I mean, you look at what's going on at USF, and I can't stress enough how important Michael Kelly is to this whole thing. He's gotten it done. I mean, I didn't think they would be able to do it, but again, in building stadiums, again, I know people think because of the Rays experience, it's so damn hard. USF can do it. I mean, freaking USF is going to build a 35,000 seat football stadium before the Rays get a stadium done. You know, it's crazy. But this is USF. I'm telling you, man. I said the other day, I think they could finish in the top 25. I think they can win 7-8 games.
That's not finishing in the top 25.
They could. You win a bowl game, you win 8 games, you could be in the top 25, depending on where the wins come. Not
when you're in the AAC.
Probably
Listen,
true.
UCF last year went 9-4 and then topped it off with a big victory over Florida. They didn't sniff the top 25.
No, they should have.
I mean, Houston, I think, finished like 10-2. I don't even know if they even finished top 25.
Yeah,
this is what happens when you play in the AAC.
That needs to change.
Which, by the way, the AAC got shafted in these. Isn't it funny how Cincinnati goes from making the playoff and it's like almost like a little token, like here you go, we'll give you a little chance, right? It didn't matter it didn't matter what team played Alabama in reality in that game, right? They're probably going to get the brakes beat off of them. Cincinnati did not look great, and they lose.
It wasn't
and all of a sudden they're
accounting.
just like, all right, we're done with you. Let's throw you back down to 22.
Yeah, it's not the same team.
They did the same thing to UCF when they went undefeated.
Ritter.
The next year,
they lost a lot from that team. They
I
lost
know
the
that,
corner. They lost all.
But here's my point: UCF, when they did their undefeated season, right, and they capped it off with a big win over Auburn, they went undefeated. They didn't really lose that many big pieces, and the next year they were ranked down in the 20s to start the season. That's what happens with college football nowadays, and then you have to naturally work your way up through the rankings. That's what they do.
All right, what else do we need to get to today that we have not gotten to? Oh, there's the big gymnastics event is at Amalie tonight. So if you're into that, that's a big deal going on down there. I know a lot of the local gymnastic clubs are getting excited about that. That's a big deal. They're expecting a pretty big crowd for that. That's the big time U.S. gymnastics team right
I
there.
know you wanted to get to some Bucs down here as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did tease that. What do we got? Who we got? We got Bowles from yesterday.
Yeah, we got Bowles, but I know you wanted to listen to Logan Ryan.
Yes, Logan Ryan's putting some sauce on it.
So I'll cue some Logan Ryan up.
You're going to put some sauce on it, Logan. We're going to play it. And by the way, Keanu Neal hurt, expected back though early in the season. That was announced. Very, very sad about that. I was looking forward to him.
Man, it's great. Love it here. It's where my son was born. My foundation was born. Had great memories here. They got a lot more buildings now. It's nice. They had a old parking deck. So hopefully I was a part of that. But I'm happy for the guys. Good to see some familiar faces, and it was good work today. It's always been a great test. Derek wasn't even out there much today, or if at all. So that's a whole added element you don't really see in practice. But I feel like they had a good day today of some good back and forth. Tannehill's accurate as always. And those guys have been playing together for a long time. So it's a great rapport. A lot of new receivers in there. I know they're breaking in. And we got to make the job tough on them, but it was good competition.
3 weeks now of training camp in terms of understanding this offense? Is there a level of fluency, of feeling comfortable in this now?
Yeah, I think defensively, right? You're talking about the defense? Yeah, I think it's a complex system, and I'm learning multiple positions. So I think I have a good idea of where they want me to be, how to get lined up. I'm a communicator in the defense, so I feel comfortable and confident to line other people up. I think I know it pretty well. Now it's just finding ways of knowing how to do my job and put some sauce on it, which makes me me. So now I'm in the sauce stage, and I'm trying to, get better week by week. But it's a lot of practice left to the regular season, so just trying to progress in the right way.
All right, we got breaking news, and we got the sauce on it there. I think he's going to have a really big year. I think he's going to make a lot of plays. Scouring through, well, look at that.
Gotta be kidding me, man. No way.
Deshaun Watson has been suspended now, and this is the final word. Well, I guess the PA can appeal this as well, right? Or is this the final word? 11 games. So 11 games for Deshaun Watson. And when do they play the Bucs? Week 12.
But it's not going to be the week 12. It's been noted here he'll return against the Texans, his former team in Houston, is when he's going to return.
Okay.
So where's Houston on the schedule for Cleveland?
Let's go Cleveland Browns schedule. It's not popping up here. So I guess that's 11 games. So they don't.
It might be here because it might have to do with the bye weeks and stuff like that. I don't think he gets suspended.
It's week 12. That's week 12. So for the Bucs, but he suspended 11em games. So if the Browns,
the game after,
so if the
Bucs
Browns, their week,
so we're
their
just
bye week is earlier in the season.
Yes.
So
the Texans are the week right after the Bucs.
So we're gonna miss him. Okay.
How about that though? He returns against Houston in Houston.
Yeah, it's kind of.
This is all done on purpose. Come on.
That's kind of bizarre, isn't it?
Bizarre. This is rigged.
There are no coincidences.
This is rigged.
Yeah.
11 games and a $5 million fine for Mr. Watson, and will also be forced to undergo a treatment program, whatever that means.
Treatment program.
And counseling.
Of course, that's going to help. That's going to help a lot.
11 games. So I'm trying to see, does this mean does the NFLPA now have the right to sue?
I think they do.
But here's the thing, though.
Unless this was because I heard they were negotiating. So the NFL may have been negotiating with the NFLPA to get to a final number that they would not file a lawsuit or.
Yeah, they might not sue because the NFL was trying to get a full year, if you recall.
Right.
And a much heftier fine than $5 million. It looks like they settled on the $5 million fine that stays, and then they brought the games down to 11 instead of 17, plus the postseason. So it does sound like the NFLPA did come out of this much better to where they don't think they have to sue. Because what's the point of suing now? I mean, you're just going to delay it an inevitable suspension. And Deshaun his rhetoric did change last week.
Yeah.
Remember, he started to apologize.
Yeah.
That was a weird video, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Weird video. He started to apologize, and then I believe he said that he'd be good with an 8-game suspension. So he even started talking about it because he knows it's coming. So 11 games seems like a nearly a meet in the middle.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's, what are we talking about here? I mean, for what he did, this is the whole thing is like, how many games is enough for what he did? Like, how the hell do you come up with a number like that? Again, it's like, he should be in jail. I'm sorry, but anybody else did what he did, he'd be in jail. I mean, I just don't get it. But, that's why I'm like, whatever, 8 games, 11 games, it's all PR. It's all PR. I don't think any women fans are going to go, oh, that's the right number. 6 was too little. A season would have been too much, but 11, I feel good about. I'll go to the games now. I mean, what's the difference, really? It's our justice system is a joke right now.
I asked,
ridiculous.
Though, for the Browns' sake, I mean, they just gave this guy the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history and all that, yada, yada, yada. This season's a throwaway for them.
Yeah.
Basically, unless they go out and they say, oh, well, we'll take Garoppolo now, because then you're back in the game. But as you're currently constructed, you have both your backup centers are gone. You now know your starting quarterback is going to be on for 11 games. This season's a throwaway. So it's like you paid him.
Unless they go out and get Jimmy G.
Unless you pay him for you paid him for 4 years or for 5 years. You're basically paying him for 4.5 now. You've just thrown away this entire year.
Oh, what the Browns did was, no. They could have kept most of their assets, paid Jimmy G a hell of a lot less, and had a guy that was starting for them. And don't forget, the Browns have a good roster. They have a really good roster. They don't need an A-list quarterback.
Yes, they do.
No, the Baker Mayfield took them to the freaking playoffs, bro.
Okay, Baker Mayfield is substantially better than Jacoby Brissett.
No, but what is he better than your boy Jimmy G?
Who, Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
No.
What do you think the Browns would be better with Jimmy G?
If the Browns get Jimmy G in the building, then they're back in the game.
Of
But
course
as
they
they're
would, but they could have done. They could have.
Jacoby
They
Brissett,
could have
it
done
ain't
that
happening.
without going out to get Deshaun Watson. Is my point, and giving up all they gave up, and
instead
giving him
you look like
guaranteed money.
You look like a clown organization.
exactly.
Which is frankly what you are.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so to recap today, big news: Tristan Wirfs taken off the field with what seems to be some type of core injury.
He returned to practice, but no pads, so he's just done for the day. Maybe
Okay,
we'll get an update later.
all right. Hopefully, we pray that that's just a minimal injury. Core injuries, that's something that can really linger. We have no details on it at all. Could be very, very minor, but just as of note, the Big Ten gets a $8 billion deal with CBS, Fox, and NBC. Incredible. Pay the players. Rays and Royals tonight after the walk-off Grand Slam Yankees winner last night. And we'll be back tomorrow. Skip Holtz is going to join the program tomorrow, former USF coach, just won the USFL title. So we'll chat with Skip tomorrow. We'll have some other surprises for you as well. And we'll recap the Rays game and get you ready for Bucs and Tennessee. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.